Today, I slowed down with meditation, not to finish a chapter, but to be finished by the Word in the Spirit. And as I read Romans 2 verse 15 to 16, I didn't rush through it like I used to. I let each phrase linger. I broke the verse apart like pieces of soft bread in my hand, feeding on it slowly, word by word. Oh, the work of the law written in their hearts. I paused there. Could it really be that even people who've never read the Bible somehow know, deep inside, what's right and what's wrong? Like there's a gentle voice in their heart that tells them, this is good, that is not. As if before they even learned words, God had already whispered something into them, a kind of light, a kind of knowing, a kind of quiet fingerprint from God. So I let that settle deep. It made me think about people I once judged, people I thought were far from God. But now I see, maybe God had already written something on their hearts. I moved on to the next phrase, their conscience also bearing witness. I didn't skip over it. I sat in it and let it speak. I remembered the times when no one was watching and yet something inside was. That little nudge in the chest, that sudden pause in the soul. That moment I knew that wasn't the way. Not in condemnation, not noise, just a quiet witness, a gentle tap on the shoulder of my heart. And I began to realize, this isn't guilt, it's mercy. God didn't leave me alone. He placed something inside me, not to torment but to woo, to draw me back, to remind me that this isn't who you are. It didn't scream at me, it whispered, and I often ignored it. But it stayed, still, soft and patient. That was God, speaking through the thread of my conscience, not to crush me, but to call me back. I realized that He doesn't want only outward obedience without inward awareness. He wants a heart that feels, a heart that knows, and a heart that returns. And even in my worst moments, when my conscience is burning and I am just wanting to run away, which it wasn't His anger that is chasing me, but it was His love. Yes, His love that is inviting me home. And then I reached this phrase, their thoughts meanwhile accusing or excusing one another. And suddenly, I saw it. How we all have in our mind, living in a courtroom inside ourselves. A place where memories play the role of prosecutor, where emotions defend or condemn, where excuses try to cover shame, and where fear often sits in the judge's chair. I sat with that image for a while, then I moved gently to verse 16. In the day when God shall judge the secrets of men. The word secrets trigger me. Not just actions but secrets. The parts no one knows, the thoughts I never voice, the desires I wish I didn't have, the things I pretend I've outgrown. But this time I wasn't afraid, because the next part lifted my head when I read this word, by Jesus Christ. And that's when the vision came. I saw the courtroom again, but this time the judge's face became clear. It was Jesus. And as I stood, expecting a sentence, He stood too, not to strike me, but to step off the bench and stand beside me. He looked at me with eyes that had already cried my tears. He wore the marks of love that had already paid my debt. And He spoke, not to accuse me but to advocate for me. Suddenly, every secret felt safe in His presence. Not because those secrets didn't matter, but because He already held them. He had already seen them, already carried the weight of them. They weren't ignored or dismissed. They were known, and still I was welcomed. I felt the mercy rise like a wave. This gospel, Paul's gospel, it's not just theology. It's rescue, it's rest. It's a real person stepping into my inner trial and saying, let me take it from here. So today, I don't just read the verses, I'm living inside them. This is no longer about doctrine. It's about encountering Him.